Fun and games in Sydney. It looks beautifully set up for the final 10 overs of the 40 that will be bowled in this encounter, the second T20 international. Can India make it 2-0 and wrap up the series, or can we stay alive till the final one in Sydney? In the company of Michael Vaughan, I'm Gautam Bhimani on Cricbuzz Comm. Michael, still about 11 runs and over to go, 9 wickets in hand. It's just set up perfectly for this one, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought we're in for a classic, and I think it's going to be the case. Virat's given himself a bit of time to get in. Shikhar looks in nice touch. KL Rahul got them off to a good start. So it's kind of the perfect foundation and platform. It will take one of these two to bat the majority of the innings. You know, incidentally, it's quite ironic that India used 5 bowlers across 20 overs, and Australia have already had 7 bowling options inside the first 10. So I just wonder whether that might be the difference at the end of the game, that Matthew Wade's got more options and more variations. And if someone gets hit, i.e. Glenn Maxwell, he's got plenty of bowlers around him to cover one or two dispatching themselves into the park. So, yeah, I just wonder whether that'll be a big play. That short boundary is such a target for the batters. You can just clearly see it, that 1 or 2 overs could be large, and that's what India will be hoping for, and will require pretty much an 11 runs per over for the last 10. If you can get a couple over 20, obviously it reduces that target down quite nicely, and I'm pretty sure that's what they're going to target.
And I think we mentioned it, that yes, you have that short boundary on one side, but you need to take advantage of the longer boundary on the other side, i.e. with all that real estate available, get those twos whenever available to try and compensate for the boundaries.
Yeah, hit it into the pockets. That's the kind of modern expression. Run between the wickets hard. I think it's trying to get the left-hander or the right-hander down the business end when obviously the leg side is a short one to either batsman. So I think that's going to be the key, and that's why it's so important that Shikhar Dhawan bats the majority of the innings to give Australia that headache of knowing that at least one of the batters can be targeting that short side every single over. So I think Shikhar, Virat's obviously a high-class chaser, but I think Shikhar, because of that left-hand nature, I think he's the key to this chase.
Yeah, he needs to not just do the Matthew Wade, but kick on from there. We've had a quick look at the 7 options that Michael Vaughan mentioned in terms of what Matthew Wade has at his disposal. And we were not entirely sure about Marcus Stoinis, but it didn't matter, because even without Stoinis, as you can see, he's got all these bowling options and 8 overs of potential leg spin to come against Virat Kohli and the others.
Yeah, and the leg spinners have started nicely. There's just a little bit there for them. There's just a little bit of purchase. You're looking at Sams. He's only bowled 1 over. He's an exceptional T20 bowler. Enrique's on this venue. He knows it so well. So I think he's got some good options. Andrew Ty, apart from that no ball, he started well. He got obviously the key wicket of KL Rahul. So Australia will fancy this because they've got plenty of variations with that bowling attack. But India should fancy it as well, because the pitch is pretty good. And as I say, that short side is so inviting for the batters that they'll never be out of this chase.
Yes, so often we talk about batsmen being familiar with conditions at a ground. Do we not give bowlers enough credit and talk enough about bowlers knowing a ground inside out, like you just mentioned about Enriquez, for example?
Yeah. We probably always talk too much about batters in general in cricket. They generally get the most airtime. But I think it's important when you've got a T20 team, and someone like Matthew Wade as well. I know he doesn't play in Sydney, but he's a T20 captain, so he knows the game. He knows what he's trying to achieve. You can see that already. I think he's been quite clever in his field settings and also his bowling changes. I think he's been on the money so far. But you're right. We should start talking more about certain bowlers can have certain rewards at certain venues because of the pitches. We generally always give those batters earn all the money and they get all the airtime.
Yeah, well, it's going to be Australia's bowlers who need to do the job for them. But India it's not just Kohli, the chase master. India have been good. We mentioned it earlier. Let's do it again on Cricbuzz Combox, that India have got 8 in a row successful chases in T20 internationals. And they certainly will look at the records like that. And there have been high chases as well. And the likes of Shreyas Iyer and Virat Kohli, both of whom are part of this lineup, have all played a part in those chases. So for a change, they'll want to hanker back to that and say, we've done it in the past. Let's do it in this back 9.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, experience is generally the key in these kind of situations. That, you know, I'm sure these two out in the middle won't be at all concerned that the rate's at 11 runs and over. They'll think that's just a normal last 10 overs of a T20 game. Yeah, when you've won so many games of late, which the Indian side have, that they'll fancy that, you know, the confidence levels around that group, around that dugout, will kind of get them close to getting over the line in this game. But this Australian team have got enough, though, that I find it very difficult to call it at this stage which side is going to win. You generally, after 10 overs of the second innings, you kind of always think, like 75% in the favour of X or Y. I really do think it's a 50-50 game as we speak.
Well, 50-50, Michael, you might just have to revise that, because I've been reprimanded severely by my producer, because he said you asked one question too many. We were about to wrap up before that, and that one question too many has cost the wicket of Shikhar Dhawan. He hit it up in the air, and it's been the two leg spinners who combined. Caught Swepson, bowled Zampa. You mentioned Dhawan being the key. Does that change the 50-50 for you before we wrap up?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. It's, I mean, Virat's there, and he can always do extraordinary things. But that left hand, I think it's a big play in this game because of that short side. So yeah, I'd say it's 70% now in Australia's favour.
That's a big jump, big call for Michael Vaughan, but it does look like it was a big blow from India's point of view. Once again, down to Virat Kohli and the rest of the attack, possibly birthday boy Shreyas Iyer walking out to bat. We'll see you at the end and see whose fortunes and whose praises we are singing at the end of this Sunday on My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live.